Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I'm going to say, Call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakha HaKudash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us this truth and rule well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakha HaKudash, Barakatam. It's the brother Kazak coming back at it again with another lesson. All right, and the lesson of this, the title of this lesson is going to be Now Elon Musk is talking about World War III. All right, or not World War III, but nuclear war. Okay, because that is what is going to come to pass, man. All right, so let's get into the article. It reads, Elon Musk warns a probability of nuclear war rising rapidly. Exactly, man. Because Elon Musk, he's at a higher level, all right, compared to, the rest of these Babylonians. He the owner of Tesla. He a CEO of, he's the owner of a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, he partakes in those, Bilderberg meetings. He holds councils, and he definitely has connections, with people overseas. He might even know people from Russia, and they're giving him the inside scoop of what's getting ready to come to pass. So at the end of the day, prophecy is manifesting. All right. Now it's speaking. Okay. So continue. So we're going to read this. All right. It says Tesla CEO Elon Musk said on Sunday that there is an increasing chance that the world could see a nuclear war as the Russian invasion of Ukraine continues to rage on. Yeah. All right. Now they're talking about, Russia nuking the Ukraine, which, if it happens, if it doesn't happen, it is what it is. All right. But the main target of those ICBM thermonuclear missiles is Babylon, man. Okay. So it reads, nuclear war probability is rising rapidly, Musk wrote in a response to a post in which he was mentioned by a Twitter user who praised the billionaire's suggestion to de-escalate the Russian conflict in Ukraine. In the original tweet, Twitter user Max Tegmark wrote, "Here's why I think there's now a 1 in 6 chance of an imminent global civil war, and why I appreciate Elon Musk and others in urging de-escalation." Right, because these are the merchants, man. Okay, these are the these people are the people from other places, all right, that come in and make a profit of Babylon, man. So it's in their best interest to try to de-escalate so they could keep the money going, but that's not what Yahweh Shemi Hawashai has in mind. Okay, that's going against the will of Yahweh Shemi Hawashai. And these things, these little notions in the world, of course, they're natural. All right. And guess what? They're scriptural as well. Okay. Let me see what else is there. All right. Let me see how long this article is, first of all, man. I ain't trying to, be here for like, a whole hour just reading an article. All right. But continue on. It says, Tegmark shared a blog article that he shared a tweet that he shared in his tweet in which he wrote about hypothetical scenarios that involve outcomes of Russia escalating tensions and possible responses by NATO and the West. Exactly. Okay, because the NATO is already, supplying Ukraine with their guns, all right, with weaponry. And Russia has came out and stated that this is a direct, act of war. Russians killed by, American-made weapons or so on and so forth, because you got different, countries that they develop their own weapons within NATO. They consider that as an act of war against Russia. All right, so they're already, letting the world know, what they feel about the situation and ultimately what time it is, man. They're considering, basically they're saying that, NATO is using Ukraine as a proxy war against Russia, and them Russians ain't gonna play that, man. All right, Yahweh Shemi Hawashai is putting the spirit on them Russians to go to war with Babylon, man. All right. So continue on, it reads, Ukrainian forces have recently achieved a number of successful advances against the Russian army in the south of Ukraine as it continues to regain some of its territories. Right. Ukraine's successes also included its counteroffensive operations in other regions as well, including Kharkiv, Luhansk, and Donetsk. Right. And the reason why this is happening, okay, is so that the Russians could have no other choice but use them nuclear weapons, man. All right. That's the main reason why, it's playing out this way. Because if it was, by their own, infantry, military might, they probably would have been taking it over. All right. But hey, The reason why Yahweh Shai has it playing out like this is because it's in his will that the Russians are going to use them nukes, and not on Ukraine. All right, even though if Ukraine gets nuked, hey, it is what it is, but primarily on Babylon. All right, as the scriptures say. Okay. However, concerns over Russian President Vladimir Putin's potentially using nuclear weapons continue to mount. President Joe Biden recently warned against the risk of Armageddon, and said that the Russian leader is not joking about using nuclear weapons. Of course, because that's a whole, different breed of Edomites right there. All right, them Russians, they different, man. All right, you look at the way they fight. They're boxers, they're mixed martial artists. All right, that gives you a little bit of an insight on how they do things. Okay, and it's really Yahweh Shai putting the spirit on them to get raised up like this. All right, continuing on, and it reads, we have not faced the prospect of Armageddon since President John Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis. All right, so that's how high we are in the as far as the tensions go. Okay. We are in something likened as the Cuban Missile Crisis, where basically when that happened, I forget the details, the intricacies surrounding the Cuban Missile Crisis. The only thing I know about it is that the Russians had nukes, they were storing nukes in Cuba, and it was a big problem with America. It was a big problem with Babylon. So that situation mounted, it got resolved the way it did. The things transpired the way it did. The Cold War continued. All right, but now here we are, 2022. And Biden is saying we in the same type of situation. All right, and this is the prophecies that are speaking, man. Okay, so we're gonna continue on going. All right, continue on reading. It reads, Biden said at a fundraising event in New York, we have a direct threat of the use of nuclear weapons if in fact things continue to go down the path that they are going. Yeah, and things are going down the path that they're going, man. Things been going down the path that they are going. Okay, for years. All right, and it's because it's the will of Yahweh Shai. All right, see, it's one of the things I always like to bring out is that press conference that that Vladimir Putin he held with with a lot of journalists from the West. He held a press conference, but this happened years ago. He held it as a warning, basically to warn the West that if things continue to go down a certain path, it'll be irreversible after a certain point. All right, and we're at that point. Okay, here it is. Russia's taking over the Ukraine. The Babylon and their counterparts, they don't like that one bit. They're supplying Ukrainians to fight against the Russians. The Russians are getting frustrated. They're about to, push that red button. And what do you think that's going to cause? All right, that's just going to mount up tensions. You best believe the troops have been mobilized, and they're about to get it in. All right, so the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38. I'm gonna start at verse 2, then I'm gonna jump down at verse 4. Or matter of fact, I'm just gonna read it on. All right, and it reads, Son of man, set thy foot against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them. All right, and when you look up Gog and Magog on the map, all right, what landmasses come out? All right, let's bring it out. All right, let me see. Gog, Magog, map. All right, what are the landmasses that come out? Okay, let's bring it out. Right there, boom, Russia. All right, Magog, Russia. Okay, and there's another one that shows where Gog is. All right, Salakia. Oh, hold on, man. Why did it do that? All right, give me a quick second. All right, hold on, another thing too, man. A little bit late into the thing. Okay, there we go. Just making sure this is on, man. I still remember that one time I did a lesson and the thing was off, man. Had to do it all over again. All right. Now let me see. There is a map that shows, where Gog is, specifically, man. But either way, you know what I'm saying? It's still, this point still got to cross. This is referring towards Russia. All right. Another a name for the Russians is the Medes, in the book of Isaiah, as we read in Isaiah chapter 13, which, I'll bring it out again, for edification's sake, in case somebody, missed the last video. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to start with this. All right. So, Son of Man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them. And say, Thus said Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back. All right. So that's the Lord saying he's against them Russians, because them Russians is Edomites too, man. All right. That's another thing too. We don't have favorites in this thing, man. All right. Yeah. We like the fact that the Russians are, getting raised up, but we ultimately praise Yahweh Hashem Yahushai because it's him that does this. All right, it's him that's putting the spirit on them Russians to do this, and there it is, right, all through the spirit. All right, Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right, because whoever rules Russia, all right, guess what? He is not outside the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the creator, man. Okay, the Lord basically puts the spirit on these people, all right, in the upper echelons to do what they're doing. Okay, that's why the elites are moving forward with their agendas, all right, and they're gonna in which they're gonna face the what's it called? They're gonna face the, dang man, what's the word for it? But basically they're gonna end up as the book of Psalms chapter 9 and 15 on down says, So continuing on, Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Exactly. All right. So we're not really rooting for these Russians, man. All right. We're rooting for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to put the spirit on our enemies to fight each other like they did in the ancient times. Okay. So continuing on, and it reads, all right. So Ezekiel 38 verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Yeah. All right. Put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine armies and horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shield, all of them handling swords. Yeah. Basically, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to force them and bring them into the battle, because it's like, at the end of the day, it's all his will, but you got to make it a little bit cinematic. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, he's making it cinematic. He has it to where, years ago, Vladimir Putin held that press conference, and he said, the world is going to a certain direction, and after it gets past a certain point, that it's going to be irreversible, right? So guess what, man? This been, heading towards that direction, all right? Because it's the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai for it to do so, okay? And as we just read, all right, hey, what did it say? I will bring thee forth, and thine army, and horses and horsemen, all the Russian military, man, all right? All of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shield, all of them handling swords. So Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is raising up the Russians, man. Okay, Persia, right? The Iranians, Ethiopia, right? Libya with them. Okay, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, and the house of Tagarma of the north quarters. All right, and all his bands, and many people with thee. All right, so you have Gomer, all right, which let me see real quick. It's a lot. Let me see. Gomer and Tagarma. All right, and then you have Gomer and Tagarma. Now this was a little bit more tricky, all right, because it doesn't really translate, to the modern nationalities, if you will. All right, no, I wouldn't say, yeah, basically modern kingdoms, if you will. All right, but this is Gomer and this is Tagarma, and what's a landmass is it in? Turkey. All right, and what just happened in Turkey? What just happened in the Middle East? A sit down between Russia, Persia, and Turkey. It's basically the Middle Eastern triangle of Russia and their counterparts. So here it is. Turkey is a member of NATO. And here it is. They rubbing elbows with the Russians, man. All right, and that's a testament that the beast will hate the whore. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, all right, verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. All right, Gomer and all his bands, and the house of Tagarma of the north quarter, all his bands, and many people with thee. Yeah, because Russia has their counterparts, man. Many people with thee. Who's that also talking about? The Moabites, man. All right, the so-called Chinese. Yeah, they with the Russians, man. All right, verse 7, be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. All right, because these countries, All right, they're weaker and they rely on Russia for their military power, you know. So continuing on, let me see what the article. All right, we're gonna head back there. All right, so continue on with the article. It reads, Putin previously warned that Moscow will use all available means to protect itself. Yeah. All right, because, Moscow, with Putin, and the place where the Russians is coming from, basically they've been under attack. They've been under financial attack, and political attack, and they they're not putting up with it no more. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, although he hasn't explicitly said that his country will launch a nuclear strike, he has repeatedly expressed that he will respond to threats that target his country's existence. Yeah, so that's basically alluding towards a nuclear war. Okay, last month, Putin announced a partial mobilization of 300,000 reservists to fight in Ukraine. Yeah, they're mobilizing, man. All right, and this is actually, a lot more, than I anticipated. But the point, as far as the article goes, actually, it's not even that much. Let me see. All right, matter of fact, yeah, we just gonna finish this. All right, let me see. All right, because we finish up with this. Boom. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, John Arath, Senior Policy Director for the Center of Arms Control and Non-Proliferation, a U.S.-based nonprofit, told Newsweek on Friday that a scenario of war in Ukraine ends in a Russian victory might encourage Putin and other authoritarian leaders to make nuclear threats in his future. Basically gas them up. So they're thinking about, they're weighing out the options. Should we let them take over the Ukraine? So I mean to say we, but they're weighing out the options. Should they let them, take over the Ukraine or not? And these are the, the rhetorics and the politics that, involved in these type of situations. But all in all, don't fall for the hype, but don't fall for any narratives. Rather, go with what is written in the book of life, which is the prophecies concerning this very topic. Okay, because guess what? It is going to wax worse and worse, no matter what. All right, and we're getting ready to read. I had to just skim through it. And it reads that that Elon Musk and them, they trying to do everything in their power, to keep this from escalating further. All right, they're trying to de-escalate the situation. All right, continue on. It says the other big danger here is the war is resolved, paused, concluded, frozen, whatever words you want to use on terms that are favorable to Russia, or in terms that can provide, Russia with a reason to claim victory. All right, so yeah, that's more, rhetoric and basically councils amongst themselves, amongst the Gayam. Continuing on, and reads, he added that nuclear threats will be perceived as having worked. Okay, so I'm reading again. He added that nuclear threats will be perceived as having works. All right, if the war ends after Russia manages to control more Ukrainian territory and changes Ukrainian government, or be assured that Ukraine doesn't try to join NATO. Okay, so basically what he's saying is that they have to be strong and not be phased, and basically this what's it called, it's a word for it, but basically not take in heart, in account, what the Russians is saying. And that's, ultimately, man, that's just a big mistake on their part. You know what I'm saying? Because them Russians are gonna do it, man. All right, and guess what? The Bible says so. Okay, so hey, man, but you know what? They're approaching this the way it is meant to be approached. All right, tactically, not really, but the way it's meant to be approached as far as biblical prophecy goes. Oh yeah, they're right on the money. All right, they're right not to take the Russian threat seriously. They're right to ignore the Russian threats in their perception that they're just gonna keep on using it so they could gain more power out of the West. They're right to do that. All right, because that's gonna cause the Russians to really do it, man. That's gonna make the Russians to really push the trigger. See, these Russians, man, they're different, man. All right, the Lord put a different type of spirit on the Edomites over there. Okay, continue on, and it reads, last week, Musk announced a plan on Twitter that would bring peace to Ukraine that would end the war. Yeah. All right. One suggestion the Tesla CEO made was for Ukraine to recognize Crimea, which Moscow annexed in 2014 as Russian territory. So here it is. They trying to bring peace amongst themselves, man. You know, they trying to bring peace amongst themselves. You know, but guess what? This is just a testament that Esau as a nation, these Edomites as a nation are divided. All right. And what do the scriptures say about that? All right, let's bring it out. Let me see. All right. A kingdom divided against itself. Let me see. That's Matthew chapter 12. Let me see. Yeah, Matthew 12 and 25. All right, let's get it. Let me see. Boom. Matthew 12. All right, now this is in response, just to get a little bit of context. Yahushua, just finished performing a miracle. He cast out a demon from somebody that was possessed. He conducted an exorcism. All right, and here came, a wicked scribes and Pharisees, trying to discredit him and say that, he does this out of the left hand, powers, left-handed energy, if you will. All right, so to speak. So Matthew 12 and 25, and this was his response. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Yeah. And every house, it's like in every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Exactly. All right. And this applies to the nation of Edom. Okay. As a whole. All right. Because they're not together right now. Okay. You got Babylon, right? Then you got the Europeans, which they make up, the beast, and Babylon is the whore that sits on the beast, the dragon, right? And guess what? What does the scripture say about the so-called Europeans? What does it say? All right, we're gonna just look it up, bring it out real quick. All right, let me see. The beast shall hate the whore. Okay, let me see. KJV. Yep, Revelations 6, it's like a 17 and 16, and it reads, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. So yeah, these 10 horns, these 10 horns, all right, is talking about the NATO and the EU. Okay, basically the European Union, them countries over there that side with America. All right, what does it say about that? It says, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate. Yeah. And naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Meaning that there's going to come a time when even those countries are going to turn on this place and shoot missiles over here, man. Okay. So that's one aspect of division right there. Another one is the Russians. Here it is. They're their own kindred. Here, look at all the war that they're going through, But why is that? Because they are a divided nation, and they are soon to be brought into desolation. They are soon to be cast down into the pit, starting with their elites. All right, verse 26, Matthew 12 and 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Yeah. All right, so that's when he responds to them. And if I, by Beelzebub, cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges. All right. So that's what it is, man. So he cut them. All right. Going into the question that they asked. Okay. So going back to the article. All right. Because these devils, man, they're divided, man. All right. And their desolation is soon to come. Okay. Here it is. Elon Musk is talking about we could squash the beef if we could get Ukraine to recognize Crimea as part of Russian territory. No, man. It's deeper than rap, man. It's deeper than rap. This is spiritual prophecy that's playing forth, man. All right. You're not about to kick against the pricks against Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay. Continuing on. Let me see. This is what he wrote. All right. Ukraine, Russia, peace. Redo elections of annexed regions under the UN supervision, and Russia leaves if that is the will of the people. Crimea is formerly part of Russia as it has been since 1783 until Khrushchev's mistake. So you see, he's already, putting out a narrative, in order to try to make the peace happen. So let's continue on reading. All right, let's continue on reading more on this. All right, so Musk also proposed in redoing elections of annexed regions under United Nations, supervision. Yeah, I'm gonna read this again. All right, Musk also proposed redoing elections of annexed regions under UN supervision, adding that Russia leaves if that is the will of the people and for Ukraine to remain neutral. Okay, his proposal was tweeted as a poll asking his followers to vote yes or no on his plan. All right, so he's trying to come up with a solution, man. All right, because his money depends on it, man. All right, his status and his money, these things, they depend on it. As we read yesterday in the book of Revelations chapter 18. All right, what does it say? All right, let me see. All right, so let's go into it. Revelation chapter 18, verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Exactly. All right, because Babylon is the number one consumer. And guess what? Elon Musk, he is a merchant. Okay, what is his product? What is he in charge of? He sells the Teslas. All right, he sells Teslas. He also has his hand in a lot of other things. You know what I'm saying? But he's primarily known for Tesla. Oh yeah, he's also into the space technology. That too, man. All right, he's also into that as well. So it's in his best interest, for Babylon to be, kept safe. Revelations 18 and 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet. All right, and all thine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of the most precious wood of brass and iron and marble, right, and cinnamon and odors and ointment and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots, right? Because he sells what? He sells Teslas. What is a Tesla? It's a vehicle. It's a chariot. Okay, not like the ones in the heavens. Oh no, just a regular old chariot, man. All right, that this devil has been able to achieve through his technology in all its glory. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, "And slaves and souls of men." Yeah, okay. Continuing on, let me see. All right, jumping down to verse 15. All right, it reads, "The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing." Yeah. And saying, "Alas, that great city that was clothed with fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors as many as trade by the sea stood afar off." Yeah, that's what they're gonna be feeling. It's already setting in. The reality of this place being destroyed is already setting in. Is starting to set in on the world. All right, the prophecies is starting to speak, man. Okay. Hey, it's raining right now. Shit, sunlight out. I might catch a rainbow. All right, Salakia. All right, continuing on in the reads. Yeah, you see, that's basically them going into, basically marinating over the destruction of Babylon. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, Musk's de-escalation. Back to the article. So Musk's de-escalation proposals was met with mixed reactions, including criticism from Ukrainian President Zelensky. All right, who created a poll on Twitter asking, which Elon Musk do you like more? All right, so it says the one who supports Ukraine or the one who supports Russia. Yeah, it's all falling on deaf ears, man. Okay, because these things are meant to transpire the way it's written of in the scriptures, man. Because here it is, our downfall happened. All right, our downfall was prophesied. Okay, in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 on down. We were going to turn our back on Yahweh Shem Shai, and then we're going to lose our first estate. We're going to lose, we're going to be taken out of our own land. We're going to be serving in captivity, all right, as slaves. We're going to lose our identity. You know, we're going to be the tail and not the head, you know. So here we are yet this day in our captivity, you know, as it was prophesied. All right. And guess what? You don't think this devil's not going to go down as it was prophesied? No, that's the pride of this devil, man. And guess what? He is going to go down. It's manifesting. All right. Continue on with the article. In response to Zelensky's post, Musk tweeted, I still very much support Ukraine, but I am convinced that massive escalation of war will cause great harm to Ukraine and possibly the world. Yeah. Yeah. Well, by that, you know, the world, he really speaking on Babylon, man. All right. Because this place is the number one, you know, target. All right. This is the source of wickedness, man. All right. Continuing on in the reads. Meanwhile, Andriy Melnik, Ukraine's outgoing ambassador to Germany, tweeted, fuck off is my very diplomatic reply to you. All right. So, hey, man. It is what it is, man. You know, it's falling on deaf ears. Okay. And we hope for this, man. All right. Because this represents our deliverance, man. All right. Because at the same hour of this place being destroyed, the elect is going to be delivered. Okay. Lord willing, we're of that number. Still, Musk's plan was praised by Putin's spokesperson, Peskov, who welcomed the proposal and said that the Tesla CEO is still trying to look for ways to achieve peace, right? Many ideas deserve attention here, Peskov said in this interview. So you see, you have a difference in attitudes, man. You know, you have one side, you know, entertaining peace and trying to work for peace, and you have the other side that's completely against it. You know, and that's Ezekiel 38. All right, because this is really the Western's instigations that caused Russia to do this. All right, but it was all through the will and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. Those are the hooks that he put into their jaws. All right, those are the hooks that Yahweh Shem Shai put into the jaws of these Russians. All right, to force them to come to war, to bring their armies forth, and get this thing started. All right, so continuing on, let me see. Continuing on, it reads, many ideas deserve attention there. Peskov said in an interview with state-controlled news agency RIA. As for holding referendums, residents have already expressed their opinions and there can be nothing else here. But I repeat once again, the fact itself is very positive. All right, so, you know, they trying to entertain that, you know, and that's the end of the article. All right, but hey, man, there is no stopping what's getting ready to come to pass, man. All right, with that, we're going to go with the book of Malachi, you know, chapter 4. All right, and it reads, the book of Malachi, or matter of fact, because this is not necessarily talking about, you know, specifically, you know, where it's gonna happen. We're just gonna, you know, go back to Isaiah chapter 13, verse 19. Okay, and talking about 19, verse 17. All right, and it reads, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Yeah. All right, so the Lord is going to stir up the Medes. All right, and these Medes ain't talking about the ancient Medo-Persian Empire. It's talking about the modern-day Russians. All right, so he's going to stir up the Medes against them. Against who? Babylon. All right, because that is written in the top verse. All right, what does it say? The burden of Babylon, the prophecy of Babylon. Okay, so that gives you the context of who this chapter is talking about right here. Okay, so basically it says, you know, I will stir up the Russians against America. All right, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Yeah, because with all these sanctions they've been getting hit with, they're still continuing on doing what they're doing, man. All right, continue on in the reads. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, and their eyes shall not spare children. Yeah, because once the missiles launch, man, you know, ain't no taking it back. You know, a missile goes off, everything in its vicinity, everything in its radius is going to be destroyed. Everything, including the elements. All right, as it is written in let me see. Is it this one? Nah, Salakia. Let me see. We're gonna go with 2 Peter chapter 3. Bring that out. Oops. All right, what does it say? 2 Peter chapter 3 and 10. But the day of Yahweh Hashem Shai will come as a thief in the night. Yeah, because these people ain't looking for it. These people ain't focused on and watching the times. No. They too busy trying to look for the next episode, man. Look for the next thrill. So when these things happen, it's gonna catch them by surprise, man. All right, what does it say? In which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. Yeah, that's the explosion. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Yeah, that's the heat emanating from the blast. All right, because one of the things that a lot of people overlook about the nuclear missiles is that before that actual the big blast comes out, the vicinity is hit with a lot of heat, a lot of heat. All right, and you look at the nuclear testing sites. You look at the footages, or better yet, you got the movie clip, Indiana Jones, the new one where he took refuge in the fridge, because he was in a nuclear testing facility right when they launched the nuke. You saw, it showed you in the movie how the mannequins, before the actual, explosion, before the actual blast, you had a prelude to that. And it shows in the movie how the mannequins melted, man. All right, before the actual blast came. The mannequins melted, and that's talking about the heat, man. All right, that's that heat. Okay, and then when that blast comes, guess what? It's going to be even more heat, man. All right, you see it in the movie The Terminator. Brothers, that's one of the favorite scenes that best describe this. The movie Terminator, where the chick is holding on to the fence, and a nuclear bomb goes off, and she gets literally melted away, right? So continue on, it says, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also and all the works, so again, the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Yeah. All right, and that's gonna be basically the what's it called, the outcome of these missiles, man. Okay, so continue on, and it reads Isaiah chapter 13. We read verse 18. All right, so basically anything caught up in the radius is not going to survive. All right, except for the elect that's going to get beamed up into the chariots. All right, verse 19, in Babylon the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Yahweh Hashem Yahushua overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, how did Sodom and Gomorrah go down? All right, through fire. Okay, but it says it shall be as when Yahweh Hashem Yahushua overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So it's going to be likened, it's going to share a similar fate. The only difference is it's not going to be fire and brimstone that the Lord is going to rain down from the heavens by way of the chariots and the angels. No, it's going to be by way of the ICBM thermonuclear missiles, the Smith and the Waster, and the weapons of his destruction, man. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, let me see, verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there. Oh, that's the spirit, man. Hey, it's thunders going on right now, man. Hey, that's the spirit. See, that's the world chiming in right there. All right, but continue on, it says, it shall never be inhabited. Yeah, this place will never be settled and colonized again, man. Okay, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Yeah, all right, but verse 21, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. All right, and you know what, let's look up the word doleful. What does that mean? Just out of curiosity, what does that mean, doleful? All right, doleful definition. All right, expressing sorrow, mournful. So, hey, man, it's gonna be creatures that are associated with negativity that's gonna be dwelling there. Scorpions, snakes. Creatures that are associated with darkness. All manner of insects. Things like that, man. All right. Continuing on, verse 21, I'm going to read it again. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. The wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses. All right, and the dragons in their pleasant palaces, and their time is near to come, and their days shall not be prolonged. Exactly, man. All right, and that's going to be the outcome of this place, man. A barren wasteland. All right, what does it say in Revelations 18? All right, What does it say? And he cried, it's like at Revelations 18:2, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Exactly. That's what's going to be inhabiting this place after the nuclear missiles, man. Thus saith Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And there ain't nothing no CEO, you know what I'm saying, could do to stop it, man. All right, because this is the will of the living power, the creator of the heavens and earth, that is doing this. Okay, and with that, I'm gonna finish it up with Isaiah chapter 55:11, and it reads, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, and the words concerning the words of prophecy written in this book. All right, it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. And that's basically, plain as day. All right, everything written in this book is going to come to pass. Okay, there is not one single prophecy in this book that's not going to come to pass. All right, everything is set to come to pass. That's why they call it the scriptures, man. All right, because the root word of scripture is a script. And what else shares the same, word as script? Movies, man. All right, this is the movie of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and it's playing out however he wills it. Or it's like it's playing out as he ordained it to be. All right, according to the scripts. So with that, I'm going to say, Call Halal Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. The willing this lesson was edifying. All right, I'm going to title this, Elon Musk trying to stop nuclear war. All right, so with that, I'm going to say, Shalom, on to the next.